hope y'all can hear me. I ain't check my I ain't checking my volume. Whew, good job. Okay, so who's she in the backyard? Yes. All right, y'all. How y'all doing? I know it's been a couple weeks. It's only been a couple weeks, so don't get dramatic on me. Um, but I have some concerns. That's why I'm here. I have some concerns. So, um, my youngest daughter, she graduated. She graduated in ooh, 20, was it last year? She graduated last year. Um, so with that being said, as soon as she graduated, I missed the graduation. I was in the hospital. If y'all been following my story, that's when I had my little month stint in the hospital with the colostomy bag and everything. So I missed her graduation. But this ain't even about that. This ain't got nothing to do with that. So as soon as I got home in June, like the end of June, she moved out. She went and got her own apartment. And it's kind of bittersweet because me and my husband, we told her, we were like, well, no, you're not ready. You just got this job, but that is what she wanted to do. And you know she went out there. you know it hurt me. Being a parent, I already kind of knew what was going to happen before it happened, but I just had to learn that we want the best for our children, and sometimes you have to let them go out there and experience things on their own. And it was just very, very difficult for me to understand that, because you know, I left home when I was, young, and I had a hard life. It's hard out there. We're talking about the late 90s, early 2000s. I was out there, and it was rough. I was living in motels. I was traveling from city to city, state to state, staying with different people, staying with different family members. And one thing that I learned is when you stay with people, everyone has, rules. There's rules to people's homes. And you have to follow those rules if you want to keep a roof over your head. I remember I stayed with a friend of mine. His thing was church. We had to go to church every Sunday. And the thing with me was I worked on Sundays. I worked very long shifts, but we had to get up early and we had to go. And then after that, I would get, dressed for work in the bathroom, and then he would drop me off, and then I would work late into the night. I would be so exhausted. But that was a rule that I had to follow if I wanted to stay in this person's home. A family member of mine, I stayed in her home, and it was, church was a big thing for her. We went to church probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We went to church. And that was a rule of her home. And, back then I wasn't in the church. I was young. I wanted to have fun and party, and, and but that was a rule of her home, and I had to follow that rule of going to church, wearing a skirt and getting in the choir and just full-fledged church. So people have different things going on in their home. Whether they want you to pay rent, follow rules, do chores. You can't live with anyone for free. Okay? If you're living with somebody for free, they're either trying to help you in some sort of way, or at the end of the day, they're trying to help you get on your feet, and they just want the best for you, and they got it like that. Right now, we are in tumultuous times, and a lot of people don't have it like that. So right now, you have to kind of, you know, help out around the home, whether it's chores, babysitting, whatever it is. So, you know, my child moved out, and then she ended up coming back home. She went out into the real world, and she realized, hey, it's really hard out here. I got to pay water and lights and gas, trash. I gotta pay rent. And if my rent is late, that's $30 a day. And then if I don't pay that, I get locked out. So she got a reality check. It's rough, you know. Yeah, wow, mom was right. It is tough out here. So she ended up coming back home. Within her coming back home, I have rules, and one of my rules is you have to pay rent. And I don't include chores or anything like that. But my thing is, I don't need the money. Don't get me wrong. $300 is not gonna, you know, pay my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to teach my children responsibility and priorities. One of her things was, when she was paying rent, priorities was a very difficult thing for her. Do I pay rent and keep a roof over my head, or do I order a bunch of clothes from Shein? Now, you can order the clothes from Shein and you can look your best and look like $1,000,000, right? Get on Temu, shop like a billionaire, right? That's what they say. That's the Temu logo, shop like a billionaire. But on the first of the month, you're not going to have anywhere to wear those nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be homeless. You're going to be looking very fashionable on the side of the curb with a bunch of garbage bags because you did not figure out what was more important to you as far as priorities and responsibility. And I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's a struggle or it's just not respecting the rules. So every day, I've been talking about this whole rent thing and okay, I got you. When I got it, you got it. Well, you got it. And I'm not getting what I was promised. We had an agreement and I'm just kind of, I don't know, guys. I'm over it. I'm really, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And I think my children are kind of like, they don't think that, when I make a threat or I make a promise to them, that I won't actually, just go with it. They think, oh, well, mom's mom, she's not gonna do anything. What's she gonna do? Throw me out on the street and I ain't got nowhere to go? Yes. Yes, I will. Because see, when y'all are out on your own, my oldest just moved out as well. And when you move out on your own and you're living in my home or anyone else's home and you keep throwing in people's faces that you're grown, you're an adult, I can make my own decisions, I'm not a kid anymore, you're not the boss of me, remarks like that, then hey, if you want to go out and pay somebody $1,100-$1,200 to stay in a crammy one bedroom, you know, and then you got lights, water, gas, trash, and all these other bills that you have to pay. And we ain't even talking about food. Grocery is like through the roof right now. So yeah, you'll be in your own place, but you'll be starving, okay? If you're willing to do that and not pay a family member $200 or $300 in rent because you feel like they owe you that because they're your family, then yeah, it's time for you to go out on your own. The thing with family is, um, you can try to help your family, you even friends, and for some reason they feel like, I don't know, you owe them, or we're family, we're best friends, so she's not gonna. But at the end of the day, a lot of times it's business, and that's what I told my daughter today. I say, look, don't take this personal, but I'm putting the eviction notice on your bedroom door. This is business, because you can't live in an apartment and not pay rent, and then the landlord is like, oh well, you're nice, you're cool, you know just don't pay it. No, I'm trying to teach you responsibility. And if I don't do it now while you're 19 and 20, you're not going to get it. You're not going to be conditioned to take responsibilities seriously. Now my oldest recently moved out. Um, yeah. So I went in her room and I noticed that she left her room as if she was coming back. I don't know where she got this idea. It's really, really strange. So I texted her today and I was like, "Hey, what's going on with your room? It doesn't look like you moved out." And so, I mentioned it to my best friend and she's like, "Girl, put her stuff in boxes." And I'm like, "Oh." And so that's what I'm going to do. Because, if you can get in the home and be disrespectful, that's another thing. You know, I don't mind helping anybody. But when you start being disrespectful, you're not going to get any help from me. Don't call me. Don't text me for help. Your attitude, your words said it all. And especially, when I'm your parent. I raised you. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like these kids feel like, you know what it is? They feel like we owe them something. My daughter's friend, when I mentioned rent because she had a friend over, and I was like, "Hey, I need you to pay me this rent, right?" Her friend goes, "Well, what kind of parent asks their child for rent?" Me, because you're living in my home and you're an adult and you have to pay bills just like I do. I'm not gonna be if I moved in with my mom and dad tonight. My mom's going to be asking me, "Okay, so are you going to buy groceries? You going to wash dishes? Like, what's your plan to contribute to the household?" Like, it's only fair. And like I told her, I said, what kind of child or young adult wouldn't offer to help out around the house? Like, there are plenty of teenagers, young adults that come in the kitchen. "Hey, mom, dad, y'all need groceries? Y'all good? Are y'all good? Like, do y'all need anything?" Because they have common sense and they realize, you know, lights, water, gas, trash, internet. Okay, it's not cheap. It's not easy. You know, and they want to contribute. They want to. But those of you out there that think, "Oh, because I'm your mom," and my daughter even told me, she was like, "Well, mom, you're supposed to. I'm your child." Oh, so now you're a child. So after hearing for months and months and months, even before she became an, I can't wait till I turn 18. And then it was like, "Oh, well, I'm an adult now. I'm 18. I'm an adult now. I can make my own decisions." And then we ain't even gonna talk about her dad piggybacking on that whole "I'm an adult" thing. Um, yeah, that made it even worse. So I would try to talk to him about a few things, and then he would just, whatever they say, he just goes along with it. Like, I don't have any backup whatsoever. My ex were not together, so it's like everything that I try to instill in them, it just kind of goes out the window when they talk to him. Um, they can come and ask me something. "Hey, mom, I want to go to Paris." And I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea to go to Paris right now. There's a lot going on. Da, 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 da. Well, they'll call their dad and they're like, "Well, I think it's a great idea. You should go." And I'm like, "Okay." So behind the scenes, we'll have a discussion. And I'll be like, "Well, look, I don't think it's a good idea. And I think, it would help if you would back me up." And here well, they're adult, so, I, it's just a type of thing. Like, I say one thing and he's like the good parent. And I'm always made out to be the evil, mean, "You don't want me to have fun. You're just here to ruin my life," parent. And that's fine. I will hold that badge. If so, if that's what they want to do. But yeah, I'm just having an issue here, and I really think it has to do with respect. I don't think um I don't know. I just feel my children don't respect me. And it's kind of sad, really. But, I can talk and talk. I can tell them how I feel. They don't care. It goes in one ear and out the other. And, but now I realize I'm going to have to put action um, along with the talk. I need to stop talking the talk and I have to put action behind it. If you don't want to pay rent, you got to get out. Deep down inside, it's like a sword going through my chest, but I can't let them see that, okay? So, but it is what it is. I left home early and I was out here. I no one told me, hey, you know, um, use a signal light when you turn in the car. Like I had to learn everything. I was so green when I left home. I knew nothing. I probably got just swindled every which way because I just didn't know. I didn't know anything of the world. My parents didn't teach me anything about the world whatsoever. They didn't teach me about how people are gonna try to get over on me. Um, how people are selfish. They'll take everything from me and leave me outside. They didn't tell me about like scandalous family members. Like I had no knowledge of the real world. And I don't know if it was because they didn't have knowledge of the real world or they were just trying to shelter me. But then when I did come out into this world, um unfortunately a lot of bad things happened to me. And that's when I learned that there are horrible people out here in this world. I wasn't prepared at all. So, since I wasn't prepared as a teenager, as a young adult, I tried to make sure that I prepared my children because I didn't want them to go out into this world blindsided. Look, there are terrible people in this world. There just are. You can be as nice as you want, you can help people, give the shirt off your back, and they will do you so dirty. And, not everybody, but you have to treat everybody as such. You can't trust anybody, okay? And, I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Um, yeah, so I'm just learning to lay down the law, and I'm starting to see a lot of things now that my children are adults. I'm proud but kind of disappointed because, you know, when a parent has children, we make a lot of sacrifices. We make a lot of sacrifices. Um, I passed up career. I had to pass up career opportunities. I had to work the shifts nobody else wanted to work because I couldn't get a babysitter. Um, I always wanted that convertible two-seater, but I couldn't get it because I had car seats to put in the back. Sacrifices that parents make for their children. And then when they become adults or young adults, it's like all of that just went out the window. I'm like, well, dang, I raised you better than that. What happened? Or you'll hear something and then you're like, no, not my kid. Not my, nah, she. And then you're like, wow, they did that? Are you serious? So it's like, you know what? As a parent, you can raise your children to be the best human that they can possibly be, or you want them to be, or that they can grow up to be. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. They are. Um, Sad but true. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's just my vent for the day. I was just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. My daughter has the financial capability to pay me rent, but she doesn't feel that she has to. I'm kind of on the back burner. Everyone else and everything else is coming before me, and it's because I'm her mom. But reality check. Your mama will make arrangements for you to go elsewhere. You know, it is what it is. I don't feel bad about it. I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, that's my vent for the day. Hope y'all enjoyed this live. Um, I have an eviction notice that I have to write out and put on someone's door. And so, I guess I'll update y'all on what happened after she gets home and she sees it. So, all right, guys, y'all have a good night.